G'day trendsetters, coming to you today from Brickyard Bike Company in Phoenix City, Alabama, across the Chattahoochee River from Columbus, Georgia. That's my long-time mate Pete. Pete has built many bikes. In fact, he's got guys from Florida driving up to have him work on bikes. That's how good he is. Yeah. Exactly. Pretty decent? Pretty decent. So today, we are building with Wheeltop EDS Gex, which basically is a budget one-by electronic shifting drivetrain. Wheeltop, I've actually done a bit of playing around with a Wheeltop Groupset in the past. In fact, Pete built this very bike here with the 2x version, which is EDS TX for road, and the build was going great until I tried to set up the front derailleur, and let's just say it turned into a complete pig's dinner. I spent 3 hours working on it. I said, you know what, I'm done with this. If I cannot set this thing up in 30 minutes, there's a problem. So we're scrapping the 2x for now. We're going to utilize this opportunity to install this group set, as I said. So you might see some regurgitated footage from the earlier video where Pete was wearing different clothing, etc. But moving on, it's time to build this bike. Here we have the parts for the Wheeltop EDS Gex group set. This is the aluminium or aluminum version, if you prefer, one by right there, and they've also updated the brakes in this new version, so that's quite interesting. Let's weigh the new parts. That's not a light derailleur, 396 grams, but it does include the battery. Hydraulic brake lever, electronic shifter, 239 grams. These are the aluminium blade versions. This is the right side shifter, 241 grams. Interesting observation, this is basically the 2x shifter. They did not develop a special 1x shifter.
All right, kind of had to do this the old school way because all of my routing tools are damaged.
Pete, how did they get damaged?
I'm getting roughed up. Excessively used like a lot lizard. Just mounting up this brake adapter. So with flat mount brakes, they're usually direct mount 140. I need to put this 160 adapter on here so we can run a 160 rotor. Came with a set of bolts. These look like these are gonna be too long. So we're gonna find some that will fit. So found some bolts that are going to fit our caliper. I don't want it. Well, you won't want these sticking out too much because I gotta just thread into this adapter here. But it's roughly what, 13 millimeters that we need exposed. And I'm gonna lightly hand thread these in to get them attached.
Who pushed Todd down the stairs?
Just sizing my steer tube. We're gonna cut the steer tube so he's got a little extra. He's got 5 millimeters, so he's got room to play with.
It looks to me like you've also run the brake housings, Peter.
So this one was super easy. He just routes it straight through. You can literally pull it out here just to show you. Pull it out. I'm gonna push it right back in.
Nice.
Bada bing, bada boom. Steer tube marked. Spray it. Safety glasses on.
Yes, right over here around the counter.
Clean up time. Peter, you're getting yourself really close to those fibers.
Could be dangerous. Yeah, looks good. So here's our compression plug. This is the insect kind. So I'm going to do is I'm going to thread it in a couple of turns. I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to tighten it from the top side here. Torque it down when we get everything installed.
Pete, that grease looks exceedingly sticky.
It's that sticky icky, very sticky.
Actually,
Look at that.
second down.
Putting a light layer on everything. Good corrosion protection. Slide it on. A bit of grease on the top.
I just want to see it in terms of.
And I'm also going to put a glob inside the frame. Take another glob. Do the upper. Slide the fork in. Slide that compression ring on. Nice tight fit. It's so tight, I don't have to hold the fork.
So I might shorten that at some point, but for now, that's how it is. Kind of experimenting with stems today. This is the Lynskey titanium stem, which was really tight on the steerer tube. So if you see there, it's kind of quite a bit taller. So for now, we'll use the FSA stem.
I'm gonna slot that faceplate on.
Park Tool, ASC1, anti-seize compounds.
Nice and smooth. Now you've got good frame prep, and you can just twist it in by hand. Get nice snugged up.
Which bike is that? This is basically an SLR 9 that you know technically kind of eliminated the need.
Right there. I'm gonna put this crankset in.
This is a 1x specific crankset from my friends at FSA with a 44 tooth chainring. It's a big one, so to speak.
BB386 Evo, so they're gonna be plenty of length. Grab some of this excess grease, just wipe it here on the spindle.
Historically, folks, I have a bad habit of leaving parts behind for these builds related to the front derailleur or crankset. Isn't that right, Pete?
Yes, it's usually the front derailleur.
But this front derailleur, well, there's no front derailleur on this build. It's derailleurless.
Some people are more fond of no derailleurs.
Yeah, it's getting a big following, isn't it?
Yeah, it's improving to the point where we have pretty decent gear ratios. Nice wide ranges, really smoother shifting, because it's not just straight up mountain bike gearing. You know, with new 13-speed, 12-speed Axis, you know, Explorer bikes that have 1044s.
1044 and the new 13-speed is 1046. And I have a review of that Groupset coming. In fact, Pete built a bike for me. I'll link it below. Number 22 with that fantastic Groupset. You heard me say that, fantastic, because I never really liked 1x too much.
I'm still riding 2x road gearing on a Shimano 105, and I have an 1134 cassette to throw on there. But this past weekend, I did the standard deluxe metric route and absolutely got routed.
Yeah, that 52 chainring's too big, I think, for gravel, man. You need a 46.
Well, like my lowest gear was a 34 with a 32 in the back.
Yeah, you need a 1-to-1.
So not quite 1-to-1.
Yeah. I still love 2x. I'm not going away from 2x, but 1x has definitely made some leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds. So we had some a bottom bracket spacing kind of issue with, I can't really find a good diagram for getting good, you know, spacer setup. Like usually with SRAM, you can look up the MTB or road crankset and bottom bracket user manual, and it gives you, specific charts of what spacers you need to use based on your bottom bracket and your crankset spindle length. This one wasn't so easy to find, so we just kind of had to figure it out. So I started with a 3mm spacer on the drive side. It gave it too much preload because these cranksets use a wave washer to set preload on the bearings instead of like a preload adjuster like you have on other cranksets. So then I went down to 2.5. This thing spins pretty smoothly at the torque spec, and it doesn't have play at any point in the circle. I went all the way around, checked for play, lateral play on both sides, and it's fine. Seems to be running smoothly.
Pedals.
Heard about some commenters saying that pedals only need to be finger tight. It's the biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard in my life. The torque spec is between 35 and 45 Newton meters. If you left it just like barely tight like that and you're pedaling along, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but I've done it on test rides before when I built a bike out of the box, and I just kind of finger tightened them just to test the theory. And guess what the pedals did? They started coming out. Nobody wants that shit. We're using the torque wrench here till it goes click. Pull it till it goes click.
FSA Rotor.
Just swap the levers and calipers out without losing any fluid.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No hassles?
No hassles. You just have to use gravity at your advantage. Like, yeah, you can, basically what I do is I dismount the calipers and then I loosen the hose and I just like make sure it stays upright. You don't leak any fluid out. Same thing with the levers.
Pete, I have a question. Is it levers or levers?
It's levers.
All right, so it's levers. Thanks, mate. Those brakes, no bleeding at all.
No bleeding. They came fully bled, like a lot of like pre-built systems. I mean, what I might do is just put a funnel on top and just, do a funnel lever bleed. Lever bleed.
Lever bleed. Next question. Is it advisable to leave the plastic on? Like, when you buy a car and they get the plastic on the navigation screen.
On the door sills and the navigation screen.
You want to peel it off, I know you do. That's satisfying, isn't it?
So good. It's better than sex. Just be like.
You stop really caring about like all the generic stuff.
Just mounting up the derailleur. Put some grease on the bolt.
Interesting observation here, Pete. This derailleur is available in 2 cage lengths. 2.
Really?
For real. So this is the shorter cage length. This will do a 10 to 46, I think, and there's also the other longer cage version, which will handle a 52 tooth cog, I believe.
Oh, it's like mountain bike and
so like a mullet
gravel road.
Or gravel, yeah.
List the torque spec here on the bolt. 8 to 10 Newton meters, pretty much industry standard.
And we have paired the shifters to the derailleurs, which was a very, very easy process. I did the video, sorry.
Put the wheels on, set up the brakes, and get my axles greased. Give it a little ugga-dugga.
Notice those sweet custom decals.
Decals?
Decals. I'm calling decals, all right? We'll go with stickers.
Sounds like something dirty. Decals. Like, my name is Mike Hockner?
Mike Hockner.
Hockner. See if that lines it up. Oh, nope.
Bugger.
That one's close. I'm sizing the chain. 10 to 44 cassette. We've got a 44 tooth chain ring. That gives us a 1-to-1 ratio. The golden ratio for gravel. You got a sub-1 ratio, you're entering a world of pain. So I'm gonna size the chain. I've already marked it here. That's where I'm gonna cut it. Basically adding one inner and outer link.
This is a Shimano 12-speed road chain.
See how it works.
I notice the wild thing we're doing here. At the SRAM, Pete, we're breaking rules here, man.
Yeah, we're breaking some rules. It's okay though.
Which reminds me, there's a video I have. It's linked in the description below, Pete, and it shows 12-speed to 12-speed on every combination. SRAM with Shimano, camping with Shimano, the whole deal. Check it out.
We've done some with mountain bikes where we put SRAM chains on Shimano builds and vice versa. I haven't really had too many issues, although one time I put a KMC chain on a Shimano Ultegra Di2 drivetrain, and for some reason it just dumped chain all the time on the front derailleur. If you're going up into the big ring or you're going down, like it just did this weird stuff. And I did another build recently where the customer wanted one of those fancy colored KMC X12 chains, and it ships perfectly fine.
That was my experience. I did a video about that exact chain.
So one chain didn't do so well, the other one, and it was gold. I don't know why that would be. They were set up exactly the same way.
Bad batch of chains, maybe.
Probably a bad chain, yep. See where that gets us. We'll check the B tension. Snaps back. We're good.
So what's next? Oh, setting up the derailleur, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, we might need this. This is the Wheeltop app, and I have already paired the components. Pete, just give us a quick shifting run through without any adjustments, please. We need some adjusting. All right, we need to make an adjustment, Peter, obviously. You do me a favour, mate. You hit the adjustment there on the screen.
The guy was like, man, that's so far on the right line, you're going to do it tomorrow, I would do nothing about it. So that's just not kind of what my job is. Oh, yeah. So
There we go.
I don't break laws, I don't intend to.
Beautiful.
Don't hear any ticking.
But there's guys like him.
Let's give that a shot.
Do you like those EDS tailors? I'm like, yeah, 600 feet, I love them. I'll give you a couple small batches. I'll do trades like that. I'll give you
I'm listening for any rasping. It's got a lot of rasping there. Right in the middle is usually where you get that.
I bet, I'll just go on a limb here. I bet he's also found some cans. I bet he's also can find.
We are tweaking a few of these gears, so it's shifting decently well through the range, but there's a couple where it's hanging up, and you can individually tweak that particular gear position. This is the transmission settings screen in the Wheeltop app. To make adjustments to the shifting or change the cassette speed, you choose the equipment debugging menu option. So to change the cassette ratio, you would simply tap cassette speed, currently set to 12 speed. You can go from 3 speed to 14 speed. Initial calibration, sure. You saw Pete playing with this screen in the video a moment ago, but we made a lot of the fine tuning adjustments in the fine tuning gear screen. Read the helpful hint. And here we have the 12 gears, and you see these are the parameters that we tweaked each gear to have perfect shifting across the entire range. Your setup may vary between your drivetrain and the one we have here, of course.
We're shifting through all the gears. No hesitation. I'm not hearing much chatter. Shit's pretty nice. Wrapping the bars. Finishing this build. We're wrapping this Envy bar tape, which is pretty nice, if I must say so myself. It's got a nice soft, tacky texture to it. It's got these logos too, it looks fancy. Just finishing it up.
Satisfying.
Yeah, those hoods are
The whole red clay crew.
stiff.
Yep, the red tape one, that's, I've heard about it.
He's an animal.
I heard.
All he's doing is, it like worked out perfectly. He had like, hurting us all.
Finishing tape.
I'm here
All done.
Radio Trendsetters, that wraps up another build project video from my mates here at Brickyard Bike Company. That's Pete, in Phoenix City, Alabama, across the river from Columbus, Georgia. And there is the seldom seen Todd. He's part of the team here at Brickyard Bike Company. Coming later, there'll be a long-term review of this group set by Wheeltop. It could be interesting. Look at this group set. It's wild stuff. As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel for interesting project builds such as this one. No bullshit, gravel bike reviews, other product reviews, and of course my favorite thing, Pete, what is that?
General madness.
That's right. As all of it is released to the channel, I'll see you too, mate, all right, in the next video.